How you doing, guys? Marty's back. This time with a review video for the latest by Metallica, Hardwired to Self-destruct. The band's 10th album. 10th? Yes, but before I get into this album, I wanted to talk a bit about the Big Four. The Big Four, as you all know, is Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. This has been something handed down by some marketing firm somewhere for us to believe. Obviously, it's probably due to sales. But the Big Four, they are four bands, thrash bands that have been around in most metalheads' lives for a very long time. And in my opinion, have earned their spot in the pantheon of metal gods, supposedly. But ever since the death of Jeff Hanneman, I recall people saying how Slayer should stop. Cliff Burton died. Metallica should stop. I think a lot of people get so caught up in the music of these bands in their youth. They don't think before they speak when it comes to making statements such as this. I mean, think about it. These are all bands that have been around since they were teenagers. They're all, well, three of them were pioneers in making it. I think Anthrax are a great band, but I think they were more in the right place at the right time and not necessarily a pioneer. But that's neither here nor there. These bands have been around and been at it. This has been their career. This has been their job. This has been their life. They have toured the world endlessly. They've sacrificed relationships and everything you can think of to make this music and to play this music for you guys. And for people to say things like, well, Jeff Hanneman died, Slayer needs to quit. Really? What else would Slayer do? I mean, Kerry King gonna go get a job at Art Van Furniture? No. The only option for these bands is to continue to make music and to continue to tour and continue to try to entertain their fans and make money. At this point, it's a business. Music is still very much a part of what all these bands do, obviously. Like when Dave scraps his entire lineup to reform Megadeth, oh, he should stop. No, this is all these guys know. And having said that, really think about, it's completely fine if you no longer like a band's music. You can simply stop listening. But for the collective to sit there and say that people that they don't even know should stop their lifelong career because hardships happen in life is kind of lame. And this kind of leads me into this review for Hardwired to Self-destruct, Metallica. This band, in a lot of ways, you know, they haven't been thrash metal in a long time, and you can even argue the fact that were they ever really truly a thrash metal band? I mean, there was a lot of new wave of British heavy metal in their sound back in the day, and it's still kind of here now. But bands like this, I have to applaud for the fact that, A, they're very influential to me getting into heavier music, so this band is always going to have a soft spot for me. But they persevered over the years. Yes, they've made some really crappy albums over the years. And there's a long time that I maybe didn't care for Metallica as much as I used to. You know, The Load, The Reload, even the Black Album. The Black Album to me was a huge kick to the face. But I didn't ever think they should quit. You know, they're doing what they do. They reinvented themselves. They made, you know, hard rock with a heavy metal twist. But this leads me to this album. Before I get into this album, I must say that I enjoyed Death Magnetic. I know that's not a popular opinion either, but ultimately that was a very good riff album. The riffs and songs, they sounded revitalized, the band sounded revitalized, the riffs were good, and largely from beginning to end, the album was good. It got a little long in spots, but for the most part, it was a good album. Which leads us to Hardwired to Self-Destruct, 7 years after Death Magnetic. I gotta say, this album, I'm kind of along the lines with it with a lot of other people that have reported. This is mostly a good album. Hardwired, Atlas Rise, Moth into Flame are the 3 songs on the first disc that are exceptional. You can tell they're really doing what Metallica does, but really tipping their hats to their influences. Thin Lizzy, Iron Maiden, it's all in here. And then the second disc is tough. I mean, the first disc for me is mostly all good. Dream No More, Halo on Fire is a decent song. There's parts on this entire album, on every song, that I like, but the songs themselves tend to get a little samey. Other than the 3 that I've already mentioned, the songs, they all kind of revolve around the same tempo. Lars doesn't really push the envelope. The band doesn't push the envelope with speed. And it tends to drag on, and really, and then of course there's Spit Out the Bone, which everybody tells you is Metallica returning to their youth, to their roots. And yes, that fire is there. It sounds like old Metallica with a modern production and James singing a bit more. Really, if you put Spit Out the Bone on disc 1 and removed Now That We're Dead, this would have been a pretty solid, excellent album. Is it as good as Death Magnetic? Maybe not, but still solid. Why the band decided to keep everything they wrote and not like throw up an EP afterwards with the extra, that would have made a lot more sense. For the most part, this is a good album. The cover obviously is terrible. This band has put out 2 iconic covers as far as I'm concerned. That's Master of Puppets and Injustice for All. The rest of their covers are all, you know, yeah, we think of Kill 'Em All, we think of Ride the Lightning as being iconic because of the albums that they were, but not the best cover art. They make some horrible choices, and this is no excuse. And not only is it a bad cover, they carry it through the entirety of the packaging. There's no variation. They stick with the theme. It's pretty boring. I picked up the 3 CD set. Disc 1, Disc 2 is the album. Disc 3 is bonus. It's got Lords of Summer, which is a decent song. Ronnie James Dio medley with rainbow songs. Very good. This band has always been really good at being a cover band. Remember Tomorrow, an Iron Maiden cover. Then there is the Rasputin's Record Store Day set they did of old school classics is live. So I think connected with this album first on the bonus disc, because there's a lot of classics on here and mixed with some new stuff, and of course the tribute to Ronnie. But the album itself, I've found myself listening to it quite a bit. Certainly not my favorite Metallica album. I have found enjoyment in it, and is it going to stand the test of time for me? That remains to be seen, obviously. But I'm still listening to it. You know, it's been out for a few months now, and it's still ending up in my CD player on occasion, or in the vehicle driving my kid to school. You know, they say Metallica has kind of become the dad rock of the modern era, which it's weird to say that, but maybe it's true. I enjoyed this album, and Metallica does not owe you anything. If you no longer like them, don't listen to them. Simple as that. And to really sit there and throw barbs at bands like this, that they should stop, they should quit. No, they shouldn't. You should just stop listening. That's it. And there you have it. Review. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Let's talk about this album if you feel up for it. Drop some comments in the section below and we will chat. Thanks.